Hey, welcome to the part 10. We are looking at some of the questions from Google Professional Cloud Architect. So we have posted the previous parts in the Cloud Ninja membership area. All the advanced certifications or professional certifications will be kept there. So you can opt for a Ninja membership to access those paid contents. So if you have not yet subscribed, do so and onboard the cloud journey. So this playlist is dedicated to Google Cloud Professional Architect. Let us look at this next question. So you got an organization and they are saying that, hey, you know what? I want to control my IAM policies across different departments centrally. I want central control. So for example, you have an HR department, a finance department, an IT department, and so on. But you want to enforce the IAM policies from one place. Just like in India, we have a central government, uh, and a lot of policies they are cascaded from the center to the state. So that is exactly what we want here. We want something like a federal structure or central structure where the policies are created at one place and it then gets cascaded here and here. Okay, so mind you, we all know that organizations has to be implemented. You If you have to achieve it, you got to go with organization. That's why all the four options have organization into play. Now, how do we choose which one is correct? A question comes across. If you see, there are first two options say that, hey, you know what, we will use multiple organizations. Okay, so A and B says we will use multiple organizations, and C and D says we will use a single organization. See, we do not require multiple organizations because since we want to manage centrally, so we don't need two central governments. We just need one central government to manage all the states. Even centrally managed, obviously there would be individual departmental level controls, but there will be certain policies which will cascade from the center. So you have a single organization, multiple organizations. What is the difference? So multiple organizations, they have distinct needs, budgets, security requirements, and that can offer autonomy. In central organization, your departments are closely connected and share resources. Okay, and then a single organization may be ideal for a centralized governance and management. So we want a centralized governance because the question says so. With single organization, what happens is the advantages. So first, let us go back here and mark these two options wrong because these are wrong. We do not require multiple central governments. We just want one government organization to control the IM policies. Okay, this is all central. So centrally cannot mean five people centrally, five governments. No, centrally means one. Okay. You might say that, hey, no, we are killing democracy, boss. This was there in India from 1947. Okay, you didn't think about killing democracy then. Why are you thinking it now? We want to manage it through single control. What are the advantages? Easy to share resources, simplifies policy creation and enforcement, because you know that this is a policy, I want to enforce it. You just cascade it, get it enforced through the departments or through the state governments. Easier to manage at small scales. Complexity can increase as the organization grows. So if you have, instead of 27 states or 29 states, 30 states, whatever, if you say that I want to create 100 states now, small states, then it will be difficult. So if you have hundreds of departments, then it will be difficult. Okay, then you should think about other options, and billing becomes easy to manage centrally. You can get budgets, you can disperse the budget centrally, and it is very transparent in that process, who has spent when and etc. For example, in some times the state government says, hey, I spent 22,000 crores for battling this storm and so on. So but they cannot substantiate it, and when the center does not give them money, they just keep complaining. So it is so easy to uh, become centrally operable. Okay, now the question is whether we want with organization with folders for each department, or we want multiple projects. What is multiple project going to do for us? The multiple projects has a problem, but the problem is IAM policies must be managed individually for each project. Okay, so that is a problem. You are not able to enforce the central policy. and it is more difficult to enforce consistent policies if you have multiple projects. So that is why we will strike this out. Now option C, is it a best choice? Let us look at the pros. The pros, what does the pro says? Hierarchical structure for organizing project and resources. So you can inherit the IM policies from the parent and cascade it down. You can enforce consistency in the policy, like everybody, all departments implement the same policy. Okay, and that way it is able to simplify it. It is not like, you know what, I have this policy but there is a different variation in that department and different variation in this state and different variation in that state. No, central, it is easy to manage, and then enable central visibility and control over all projects. Why do we need visibility? Is it to demolish democracy? No, boss. It is to increase transparency. It is to hold your local departments accountable for what amount of money they have spent, why we could not progress, or give them credit if we progressed extraordinarily. Okay, that is how each department can be managed in this structure, in the org structure. Key advantages from a IAM management perspective: you get central control, you define policies at a folder level, cascaded down, independent management, granular control. It creates refined grained policies for specific resources roles. You have that possibility as well. Then you can build scalability as well. In GCP, how do you do that? If you have to use an organizational policy service, this is how you do. You attach the policies to the different uh, uh, folders. So you have specific folders, you have target groups of the projects with a multi-folder structure. It GCP automatically enforces the policies. You can view the compliance status in GCP console through APIs. Also, you can do it, and you receive alerts for policy violations. If somebody is not using that policy, you receive alert that this guy is doing a deviation which is not approved. Is it something which you would want to uh, address, or you want to accept or reject, whatever will be the case? So this is our final option, option C, a single organization with folders for each department. Now let us look at this next question. You are designing a mobile chat application. Now you want to avoid spoof chat messages. That means somebody is sending a chat message on your behalf, but you are not the one, and anything can be sent using that. So you want to avoid it. How do you avoid it on GCP platforms? Have you heard about something called public key infrastructure? This is very important. Thumb rule: PKI, PKI, PKI. It is a robust mechanism for verifying the sender's identity and ensuring message integrity. So message integrity is important. That means if I have sent the message, I am responsible for it. Nobody can copy my message. Nobody can send the message on my behalf by hacking my systems. That means each user has a unique public private key pair. Messages are encrypted with sender's private key, which only they can possess, and the recipients uses the sender's public key. Okay, so this is the key feature of PKI. The benefits PKI offers is strong authentication. If there is a strong authentication, nobody can spoof on your behalf. Second, non-repudiation, which means ensure that the sender cannot deny sending a message. Okay, and data integrity protects messages from unauthorized modifications. I cannot modify your message and send it on your behalf. Confidentiality is maintained, like keeps messages private from unauthorized parties. It is absolutely confidential, and by implementing PKI for message encryption and authentication, you can significantly enhance the security and trustworthiness. Obviously, you use PKI, you are damn sure that your system is absolutely secured. No spoofs can occur. So this is our final answer, but what about other options? Let me take you to a slide where we have documented why the other options are incorrect. Since these are incorrect, I'm using red as a color. Tagging messages client side, it can be easily manipulated because you're not using PKI. You're not using PKI for encrypting messages. It does not guarantee authenticity because anybody with the encryption key could create spoof messages. And then using a trusted certificate authority for SSL. See, this is a encryption in transit protocol. So you protect the communication channels, but does not verify the message content or sender identity. Okay. So this is our final option. Use public key infrastructure to encrypt the message client side using originating user's private key. This is our final answer. Okay, let us look at this option. As a part of implementing disaster recovery plan, why do we use disaster recovery plan? Suppose you have your data center in Mumbai and then a disaster happens. What happens? Okay, so I was working for a bank and their data center was in Mumbai, and their disaster recovery centers were set up in different places like Nagpur, Hyderabad, and so on. So that means if that data center goes down, the data is still available from a different center, so that the disaster recovery centers are not built within 100-kilometer radius. Why? Because if an earthquake happens in 100 kilometers, if a flood happens, both the data centers goes for a toss. So if you have the original data center in one state, we have the backup in other state. Okay, so you are trying to replicate MySQL, so you have been on premises, you have a MySQL database here, and then what you are trying to do is you build something on GCP and you're using a database product there and you want to replicate that data there. But you are trying to do it, you're facing latency issues, and there is a packet loss. So now people are saying, boss, give me an option so that this replication can work correctly. And you have to go in. Once you go in and you say, hey, you know what, let me use UDP. What is UDP? UDP is a user datagram protocol. It is a transport layer protocol for network communication. Okay, it helps you with speed and efficiency, but it lacks features of TCP. The key characteristics: doesn't require a handshake, does not guarantee delivery. See, you are already facing a problem. The problem is you already have packet loss. And again, would I give you a solution using UDP so that you don't have guarantee of order of packets? Packets can be lost. What is the advantage I'm getting by proposing this? Nothing. So UDP is wrong. Now let us look at option B. Should I use a dedicated internet connection? Yes, I would use it. It gives me everything that is required to make it secure. I can build, put cables between on premises and Google's network. It is a dedicated cable connection, transfer large amounts of data, more cost effective, very secure. There is no data loss. Okay, and your network must physically meet Google's network in a co-location facility. That this is what happens. Very expensive solution, but then you are not telling me in the question that you have budget constraints. Since you don't mention that, I tell you to go for Mercedes Benz. Now, why not other options? Why not see it tells restore the database daily on Cloud SQL? But the problem is not because of replication getting failed and there are packet losses in the network. You have to give a network solution. You don't have to give a database solution. Okay. Then same thing E is saying that let me put that transaction in Cloud PubSub. What is PubSub? It is a fully managed messaging service on cloud platforms. Publish, subscribe, and so on. So it is used for sensor kind of data or near real-time applications. This question is not talking about real-time, near real-time. It is telling boss, I have a problem with what? My data gets lost. It is a network related problem. Do not give me a solution which is a storage related. PubSub is a storage. Don't give me a solution which is a storage solution. Cloud SQL is a storage. Don't give me a solution which is a storage solution. Then what else? Okay, then D says, okay boss, you don't want storage solution, I am giving you a network solution. I'm telling you, let's create more VPN connections. So I had a VPN connection. Okay, I had a VPN connection between these 2 points and I'm having a packet loss. So now what you say is, boss, instead of one, let me create four VPN connections. This will not solve because that technology itself is failing. I'm getting packet loss, I'm getting latency issues. So instead of one, if I build 4 VPN connections, how will it solve it for me? That is why option B, Google Cloud Dedicated Interconnect is my final answer, because this is expensive, but this works 100 out of 100 times. So friends, we have put a lot of content in the paid Cloud Ninja membership area. Become a Cloud Ninja member. This is an advanced certification. That's why you will not get these paid contents in Cloud Kernel area. You have to become a Cloud Ninja member. If you have not yet subscribe, go through these playlists, become tech savvy, onboard your cloud journey. This brings us to the end of this part. We will keep posting many more such parts.